And we continue on with the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. And yes, Chris is working today. You can reach out to him and you can go. I always encourage you to go look at the website. A lot of great information on that. ChrisLofthus.com, or you can call it 350-6228, 350-6228. And Chris, I always tell people, if you're driving out and about and you go, hey, I'm really curious in that, I better not call because the realtor will chase after me and do all these type of things. That's not how you do business.
No, it's exactly right. We talk about, we hear that all the time. People, they call and, one of the first things when people say, you say you're in real estate, and everyone's just like, oh God, you're going to sell me something or try to sell me something. The point, what we do is we just try to, I was just telling Jeff here at the break, we try to give people the best advice we can, and we try to kind of meet their needs. So what we do is we find out when someone calls what they want, we find out their criteria, and we start plugging things in. We just don't throw people in a car like we talked about and start aimlessly driving around and showing a property. It's completely pointless. And I think that's the service a lot of people get from their realtor. And I think it causes a lot of confusion and it causes a lot of heartburn with people just due to the fact that they can't necessarily find what they want. And the point is, if you really listen up front, we can get them the product they need at the end.
All right. The last piece I want to throw on there before we get to Jeff is the whisper or the secret list.
Right.
This is a piece that, I guess it started with this show, Chris. A lot of people said, what's my home worth? I don't want the neighbors to know, and I don't want my grandma to know I might be leaving, and I got little kids. And you kind of came up with the idea in this studio. So you're building this, what you call the secret list. How do you get on that and kind of tell our listeners how that works?
Yeah, a lot of people call it pocket listings or listings that just a certain real estate agent might know about or realtor might know about that's not on the market, that's possibly coming on the market. And we're seeing a lot more of this. As a matter of fact, today we're going out to two of them. We're going to be talking to a couple clients of mine. And they're not sure, they're not sure if they want to go through the heartache of trying to show the house with kids, or if they don't want their neighbors to know. They don't want their in-laws to know that they're selling their house. So, a lot of people don't want the sign in their yard. So when you look at the aspect of that, that's why we created the Chris Lofthus Group secret list. Like you said, you can reach out to Annette at the office or me personally on my cell phone, 514-5003, and talk to me, Sharon, Jerry, or one of us, and we'll kind of give you a rundown, see what you're looking for, and see if we have a property that's not on the market that matches up to your needs.
By the way, did Catcher, your son, listen to the show last week?
Yeah, that was good. That was good stuff.
He liked that? Yeah. Well, Catcher, you're one of the, that's one of my biggest fans. How old is Catcher?
Catcher, 7.
7, the story of my life. All right, very good. Well, Jeff Cox is with us from Right Now Heating and Air Conditioning. And Jeff, first of all, welcome to the show. Right Now Heating and Air Conditioning is one of the largest, if not the largest, in the state of Idaho. And Jeff, you started in 2000, and you kind of have a little different motto about what you want the customer's experience to be. You want it to be a good experience.
Absolutely. First of all, I want to thank you for giving me the opportunity to be here today. We want our customers to be excited about their heating and air conditioning system. It's one of the largest investments they'll make in their home. Most customers won't do it more than 2 to 3 times in their lifetime. So our objective is to go out and educate the homeowner on their existing system, on how it works, what it costs them per penny per hour to operate, and give them options to see if they can save money by looking at investing in another high-efficiency system, or give them the options of looking at upgrading their system through service and maintenance to keep it up and running more efficiently for them.
Now, Jeff, I've had an advantage because I've been in your office and seen your training and your team, and more than just seeing the pink trucks, which we'll talk about as far as your trademark. But I guess what I notice is clean. White shirts, black pants, belts, clean. I mean, that's what jumps out at me. What was your vision in 2000 when you came in and said, we're going to do things a little differently than most do?
Well, my grandmother and mother always instilled in me the importance of being clean. I respect that going into someone's house. I always look at that if I was going to go out and service my grandmother's house or have someone come into my grandmother's house, what I would like them to be in appearance-wise. And the importance of that is, obviously, if we take pride in our appearance and cleanliness, then we take pride in the work that we do.
Yeah, I like the sounds of that. Chris, one of the things that we had talked about is, I guess we will call it public service, but we're going to learn how to save some money today with Jeff and the folks at Right Now Heating and Air Conditioning. And we all like to save money.
Well, and I want to hit on the little point that Jeff just said, and I love hearing him say that. And when he talks about investment or investing back in your house, and people don't look at it, the majority of people don't look at it that way. So they look at it as an AC unit, a water heater or whatever. But the point is, it is an investment back in your home, because when it comes time to sell your home, or you start thinking about it and you've neglected these things that Jeff will talk about, which is it's a huge deal. It's going to come back to bite you, because what's going to happen is someone's going to do an inspection of the home and they're going to say, you know what, the AC unit shot, and then you got to make these decisions at the last second, because you say, the buyers say, you know what, either you fix it or we're walking it. And I think Jeff would have to agree with this, and it's such an important thing, not just we're talking about servicing them, but you talk about just taking care of all the amenities in your house.
Yeah, absolutely. So Jeff, start out with how. I know kind of your motto is let's conserve on energy. How do we go about doing that?
Well, some of the simple tips, obviously, this time of the year with the heat, is making certain that you keep your blinds, your windows covered either through blinds or drapes, just to keep the direct sunlight out of your home. That reduces the heat coming into your home. Making sure all of your supply registers are open in the home. We love to move furniture around. Let's make sure that we're not blocking those supply registers and we're allowing that system to operate and get that conditioned air into the home. And probably very most importantly is checking filters. That's one of the things we all neglect, is checking that filter more regularly through the summer months, because we're in Idaho, so we have dry potato dirt in the air, so we want to make sure that we're keeping those filters clean. That keeps the system at its optimal level of operation, and getting it serviced. It's very important to have your system serviced. A dirty system will cost you up to 20 to 30% loss in efficiency, so it's very important to make sure that system is clean and operating at optimal efficiency.
Hey Jeff, so you talk about we talk about servicing, and we talk about the importance of keeping it running properly, so we save money and so that it's working efficiently. How often is what's the norm? I think people out there would like to know how often should we clean our filters? How often should we get it serviced?
It's interesting. They actually did a study at the University of Louisiana years ago, and they determined, even the manufacturers recommend this, that you get them serviced every year. Through the study at the University of Louisiana, they determined that from a 12-month period after having a system serviced, from the dirt and debris, grass clippings, so on and so forth that it collected, that it actually depreciated in efficiency by 10 to 15% in just 1 year.
Right, and Dave, we talk about this too. It's people talk about it all the time about being green, and you just talk about Energy Star and all these key words that you keep hearing when it comes to a house and real estate. And I'm looking at this list here of just things that we wanted to talk to Jeff about, and I think that energy saving energy is a really important thing. But truly the things that Jeff and his company has to offer, what to bring to it, is an array of things. And he says here we're looking to talk about the service, Jeff, and the fact is I want you to talk a little bit about how you train your guys and how professional your company is.
Absolutely. First of all, we train our gentlemen how to greet the customer at the door, so that the customer knows who they're dealing with. We visit with the customer about our company a little bit, sharing them with the importance of using the proper company, proper personnel. And then we educate the homeowner. We go to the unit to do the service work. Once they do the complete tune-up, then they take the homeowner out to that unit, whether it be the furnace or air conditioner, and go through that air conditioner with them, component by component, showing them what that component does, whether it's within manufacturing specifications or not, and give that customer a understanding of how important it is to do preventive maintenance on their system to keep it running for years ahead.
Right. Dave, we talk about this too, and I love, this is we talk about Jeff and talk about business owners in Boise in general, and it's so refreshing to talk to him and just, what Right Now does, for not just their customers, but just being a business owner in general locally, and kind of what they have to offer. And I love his I guess you'd call it his mantra, or what their their high level of training and everything else that they have to offer.
Well, and like I said, the fact that they're open today and they're open tomorrow, and they were open, we had to call out there on the 4th of July. They're open. It's 585-5868, 585-5868, and it's clear across the state. I mean, I'm fortunate. I get to talk to a lot of their customers, whether it's a great story in American Falls, Idaho Falls, Twin Falls, or just down the road near the falls in Kuna. You can get them 866-331-3156. That's 866-331-3156. And Jeff, you've told me I want to give my customer enough information so they get to make the choice. You're not making the choice for them. You give them all the information so you're informative enough so they get to make the choice.
Absolutely. We want to give them all the options and let them make the choice that is in best interest to them on investing in their home.
One thing I did want to ask you about, and this is something we don't normally think of, and I do because I'm an old farmer from Idaho. I use my air conditioning to get bad, and I'd go get a little can of Freon and plug it in there. I've noticed this now back in the day, we just have somebody come out and recharge it. Have the Freon rates gone up, or what do we, just so our customers aren't shocked when they go, that darn right, and it has nothing to do with you guys, but inform our listeners today about the Freon and some of those coolant rates, what they're doing.
Exactly. Yeah, we have experienced that with our customers, and we're not the ones to blame. Refrigerant, as most people know it, is Freon, is the name they know it by, is in the majority of all American homes today. And the EPA has ruled the refrigerant is damaging to the environment, so they're phasing Freon out. And there's a new refrigerant on the marketplace. It's been out there for it's been out there for around 12, 15 years, but they just started using it extensively the last 5 years. So if you have a system that's more than 5 years old, it's very likely you have the old refrigerant in called Freon. The government's regulating that product because it is an environmental hazard. So this year they regulated it by 45% reduction in manufacturing. So when that occurred in March of this year, the cost of refrigerant at the wholesale level went up 300%.
Wow.
And of course, we've got to pass that on to the homeowner. So what used to be a simple go out and charge and get your unit up and running again has become quite an investment. So at this point, you have to determine whether it is in the customer's best interest to continue to nursing along a system that is going to no longer be adequately fixable, or look at investing in the new product and new environmentally friendly refrigerant.
So, Jeff, you talk about, we just ran some of the numbers last week, and there are some old homes in Boise, and there are some homes that are, 50 plus years old. And for those homeowners out there, and you talk about, you said 5 years, and you talk about, we've sold houses that are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 years old, that's not that old. But you talk about, the changes that are going on. So what will, is there going to be regulations that make people change out their systems, or are they just going to phase them out as they they wear out and they deteriorate, which I guess maybe would be 15, 20 years. I don't know the number, but when you look at that, there's nothing going to come down with a mandate to homeowners that are going to make it mandatory for them to replace their units, is there?
Well, there actually is some litigation out there right now. Actually, they just passed a law on energy efficiency where they can increase the required efficiency of systems. So, for example, here in the Northwest in Idaho, beginning next year, the minimum standard for a gas furnace, for example, what today is considered an 80% efficient, the minimum standard is going to move to a 90-plus efficient.
Right.
So when a homeowner goes to look at replacing their furnace, they will automatically be upgrading to a higher efficiency furnace.
Right. So, but I guess part of my question was kind of a twofold. When the unit needs to be replaced, and obviously we'll get a new unit. But was there going to be any mandate coming down on the fact that someone says, like me in my house is probably about 8 years old, where if you come out to service it, even though it's not shot, there's going to be no mandate, or is there discussion the fact that we're going to have to pull these units out and change them?
No, not at all. It comes down to the price. Obviously, when they price the refrigerant out of the market, it won't be cost effective to even look at repairing a unit. You would upgrade it to a new unit. So.
Right. Well, Dave, and I want to touch on this point too, and I keep going back to it, but I think it's so important, and this is why I love just saying, the Chris Lofthus Group, I feel like we have a great reputation out there. We have excellent customer service. We have awesome talent that works with us, from Annette to Sharon to Jerry, everyone who we work with, from our title company, Pioneer Title, to everyone we work with. We talk about Burton Freeze, we talk about Tom Morton, and these other guys that own these companies locally, and Jeff and Right Now Heating and Air is one of those companies I can put our stamp of approval on for sure.
If you want to go to Jeff's website, it's rightnowheatcool.com, and he's putting a $20 off service coupon on there, so take advantage of that. We're going to meet with part of his team when we come back, and I want to ask him about, I'm hearing a lot about an energy audit, but it sounds like he's got kind of the silver bullet. It's called the Energy Recovery System. And Jeff, I kind of want to dig into this, and I know you've brought one of your experts with you on that, and we'll find out that and more. You reach out to Jeff at 585-5868, 585-5868. Jeff, you are open today, right?
We're open today, yes, sir.
Yes, I figured you were. And Chris, you are as well.
You know it.
350-6228, 350-6228. Oh, wait a minute, I got a show after this I got to do too. But we'll take a time out, be back with more. You are listening to the Real Estate Radio Show featuring Chris Lofthus of the Chris Lofthus Group at Keller Williams Realty in Boise. Back with more after this.